we are nearing the end of Heartland Season 18, with only one episode left. Episode 9 delivers a gripping cliffhanger filled with heartfelt moments, difficult decisions, and the resolution of several ongoing storylines. The episode begins with Jack and Tim planning a fishing trip with Nathan Price, hoping to end their long-standing feud after the conflict at the market. Jack was determined to reconcile with Nathan, but Nathan hesitated to join the trip, especially with his father's health in decline. Jack and Tim convinced him that the trip would be beneficial for both him and his father. Reluctantly, Nathan agreed, though Lo was concerned the trip would waste time better spent on business. Jack and Tim felt it was necessary for Heartland's future. As they drove to the river, the trip started off on a rough note when they realized they had forgotten their lunch. Nathan offered to share his snacks, and soon the men were fishing in the river, starting their conversation. Nathan opened up about the challenges he was facing, particularly with his father's Alzheimer's. Tim shared his own experience with his mother's dementia, which helped create a connection between the men. Nathan admitted to feeling guilty about the possibility of placing his father in a care facility, but Jack reassured him he wasn't a bad son for considering it. Jack also proposed a plan to unite the two families instead of continuing to compete. Rather than battling over exclusive deals, he suggested that both Heartland beef and Price beef products could be sold side by side in Crown Shopper stores, giving customers a choice. Nathan was initially skeptical, but Jack's reasoning made sense, and Nathan agreed to give the idea a try. By the end of the trip, the three men had reached an understanding, and Nathan even apologized for escalating the feud. Jack was optimistic about their future partnership and vowed to speak with Lo about the plan. As Jack and Tim headed back from the fishing trip, Jack addressed his concerns about Tim's new career opportunity as a rodeo commentator. Tim had hoped to discuss it during the trip, but the focus on Nathan prevented that. On the drive home, Jack pulled over and expressed his fears. He admitted he wasn't worried about Tim's abilities or the importance of the opportunity, but about what the future would look like. Jack feared that once the network recognized Tim's potential, they would want him permanently, meaning Tim would spend more time in Dallas than in Heartland, leaving Jack to run the ranch alone. "I don't want to have to do this on my own," Jack confessed. Tim reassured him that Lo would stay and they could hire help, but Jack remained unconvinced. While Jack knew Tim would excel at the job, he feared it would mark the end of an era at Heartland, where Tim had always been by his side. It was an emotional moment for Jack, a rare display of vulnerability. Tim, though conflicted, seemed to understand Jack's concerns, leaving viewers wondering whether Tim would change his mind about the gig or move forward with it. Meanwhile, back at Heartland, Jessica, Lisa, and Katie took charge of rounding up cattle that had escaped the property. The ladies had planned a brunch, but it was interrupted when Amy informed them about the escaped cattle. With Jack and Tim away, Jessica, Lisa, and Katie immediately stepped in to help. They quickly got to work, using their skills to round up the closer cattle, while Amy pursued those further away. Lisa's roping skills, learned from Jack, and Jessica's newly acquired ranching abilities came in handy when they discovered a steer caught in barbed wire. Katie, though initially nervous, took on the task of cutting away the wire, injuring herself in the process. The injury led Katie to question her role at Heartland and whether she was cut out for ranch life. However, Jessica and Lisa reassured her, emphasizing that being a rancher isn't about fitting into a particular mold. They shared their own experiences of balancing personal dreams with ranch life, encouraging Katie to pursue her passions while staying true to her roots. This heartfelt moment helped Katie realize she didn't have to choose one path over another. She could balance her creative aspirations with her life at Heartland, just as Jessica and Lisa had done. Amy and Caleb also had a major storyline in this episode. Amy discovered an injured horse named Dodger on a nearby property. The horse had a serious wound and appeared to be neglected. When Amy attempted to intervene, the property's owner, Tommy, appeared with a shotgun, forcing her to leave. Amy called the Humane Society, but they couldn't send help for a week. Caleb, recognizing the property's name and its owner as someone from his rodeo past, offered to help. He hoped he could convince Tommy to allow them to care for the horse. When Amy and Caleb arrived at the property, tensions flared. Tommy, still bitter about Caleb's past, was initially uncooperative. Caleb stood outside while Amy assessed Dodger's injuries and began treatment. Eventually, Tommy realized the severity of the situation and allowed Amy to continue helping Dodger. He revealed that the horse had belonged to his late wife. Since her passing, he had been struggling to cope, leading to the horse's neglect. Caleb shared his own experiences with hardship, which helped Tommy understand the need to take responsibility for Dodger's care. In this jam-packed episode, we saw old feuds resolved, difficult decisions made, and new bonds formed. Jack and Tim made progress in their relationship with Nathan, while Tim faced an emotional crossroads about his future. The women of Heartland showed unwavering support for one another. The episode ended with Amy and Caleb making strides in saving Dodger, and Katie contemplating her future at the ranch. As the second to last episode of the season, it set the stage for an exciting conclusion, leaving viewers eager to see how these storylines will unfold in the finale.